Hey, what's up, guys? So apparently Ronda Rousey has called out Cris Cyborg and Floyd Money Mayweather in a Q&A question that she did on Reddit. And at the end of the day, if she keeps calling these people out, are they going to ever fight her? Because honestly, no one's ever going to want to see her fight Floyd Money Mayweather, because that fight will never happen. Floyd versus Ronda Rousey would be one of those weird fights. They'll say, oh, combat sports are weird. You have a woman fighting a man. And no matter what would happen, Floyd would lose in a straight MMA fight, and Ronda Rousey would lose in a straight boxing match. It's just what it is. For the people who keep thinking, well, Ronda Rousey would get her ass whooped in a boxing match, she probably would. She doesn't do as great boxing as Floyd. Floyd's been doing boxing since he was like 16 years old. It's the same thing with Ronda Rousey. She's been grappling her whole life, slamming people on their head. So, for the people who keep bringing this up, maybe the Cris Cyborg fight would happen. I could see that actually panning out and being a fight that people actually end up seeing eventually. But I think it's going to be one of those fights where it happens when these two people are out of their prime, just like the Manny Pacquiao fight versus Floyd Money Mayweather. It happened when these two dudes were out of their prime. You're never going to have two fighters in their prime fight each other. And Cris Cyborg, I think, is the only woman out there that can hang and bang with Ronda Rousey. I mean, if she can't beat Ronda Rousey, then who can? Nobody? Because every other fighter on the MMA roster is not even half as good as Ronda Rousey when it comes to MMA. Like, their skill set, the only other female athlete in the UFC that's a woman that is decently good is the 115-pound champion. And that J-Check lady, if she was 135, I guarantee you she would be the closest one to beat Ronda. She could beat Ronda on the stand-up because her stand-up is tremendous. She's a Muay Thai champion. She devastates fighters, and she does something that Ronda doesn't do, which is Ronda goes in there and bombs on them and knocks them out in like 30 seconds. J-Check, which is the 115-pound champion, if you haven't seen her, look up her highlights, or I'll post the highlights on my MMA Facebook page, MMA Underground Facebook page, so you can see. She literally will brutalize him from bell to bell. The last woman's fight she had, the lady had a cut across her nose. You never see that with a woman's fighter, dominating and bloodying up her opponents. But she does, because she's that vicious of a fighter. And one last thing, guys. She would lose probably on the ground game because her ground game is suspect. But what is it with everybody's like, well, Ronda Rousey should fight Cris Cyborg? Yeah, that's an understandable fight. What's the problem with her going up to 140? That's only 5-pound difference. You had Anderson Silva going up to 205 multiple times and kicking people in their teeth and winning multiple times. And one last thing I got to ask you guys. Why do people want to see her fight Floyd Money Mayweather? Is it because Floyd Money Mayweather is 41-0 and Ronda Rousey is 12-0 and they're the most dominating fighters of their sport? To be honest with you guys, men shouldn't be fighting women, and that's just the bottom line. Even if it's an MMA fight, a wrestling match, whatever, it shouldn't happen. Because 9 times out of 10, usually the man will beat the shit out of the woman. And that's true. But in this case, I think Ronda Rousey would just slam really hard Floyd to the ground and make it look easy. And if people are like, oh, well, Floyd was playing it safe, he didn't want to hurt Rousey. That's what a lot of these boxing fans would do. But at the end of the day, I think Ronda Rousey versus Floyd will never happen, and Cris Cyborg versus Ronda may happen, but it'll happen when they're out of their prime and they're kind of at the end of their career. That's what happens with super fights. All right, guys. Bye-bye.